بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to this last lesson on applying أفعال to the table that we have studied early on. So in this lesson here we shall look at the fi'l قرأ. Now the reason why I've chosen قرأ is that there will be noticeable differences with the previous أفعال. The first difference is that قرأ has more than the known meaning of to read. قرأ يقرأ قراءة. قرأ, I mean the ثلاثي root of قرأ also goes has the meaning of قرء. Now قرء is the singular mufrad of a word that you have read in the Quran, where Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ. ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ. قُرُوء is the plural of قُرْءٌ. So قراءة, it means reading, the fact of reading, the action of reading. And قرء means the female menstrual cycle. Now there is a slight khilaf on whether it means a cycle from menses to other menses or from طهر, meaning purity, to the next purity. But على كل حال, it has to do with the female menstrual cycles, and there are fiqh issues linked to that, and we shall see how that reflects in the different awzan of this basic root ثلاثي مجرد of قرأ. So let's start. Okay, the second issue why قرأ is different is because it has a hamza within its original root. So you shall see that this has an effect on the way the word is shaped throughout these scales and these patterns. This will be the case with a hamza, whether it is at the fa'ul fi'l, the ainul fi'l, or the lamul fi'l. It will be the case with any harfu illa, meaning waw, ya, or alif, wherever it will be inside of the fi'l. It will be the case with sad and Dad as well. Those are the ones I can think of right now. As soon as you have these letters within the root, the three-letter root of the word, you're gonna have some variations in here. You will study this inshallah ta'ala later on. As I said, this particular series right here aims at giving you basic sarf. I want you to reach the level where you are able to look up a word in the dictionary, even if the word looks complicated on a wazn like, يفتعل, افتعال, مفاعلة, مفاعل, etc. So, the ثلاثي مجرد قرأ, it means to read. That is the root. قرأ يقرأ اقرأ قراءة. And as usual we say that these four here don't have a precise rule that enables you to know whether it has a fatha in the madi as well as in the mudari' and the shape of the masdar. So these ones here you just have to know them by heart. Then here for the ism fa'il we go on to qari'un and the maf'ulun maqru'un. Now why is the hamza on a ya in qari'un, and why is it without anything ala satr, the way we say in Arabic, in maqru'un? Those are rules that you will study in a science called imla, which is one of the sciences of Arabic language, which deals mostly specifically with how to write the hamza in the middle or at the end of a word. whether it's going to be written on the waw, it's going to be written on the without anything, on an alif, on a ya, etc. Okay, so moving forward to the next wazn, af'ala. So af'ala, it has the meaning of ta'diya. So what is the meaning of af'ala? Well, we have the very simple ta'diya of the basic one. All right, we said to read. Now you are applying this action, or you're making somebody else do this action. Aqra'a means to make somebody else read. Or it can also mean for the woman to have her cycle. Aqra'at, the woman has a cycle. Okay? Or also al-qara'a, it also has a third meaning. It has a meaning of asceticism. So here, aqra'a or af'ala, it has another meaning which is fairly common for this wasn't right here, which is enter into something. You know the word sabahun, it means the morning. Asbaha, it's just sabaha but with an alif in front of it. This wasn't right here. Asbaha, it means enter into the morning. Masa, the evening. Amsa, enter into the evening, right? Misrun is a village. Amsara is to enter into the village, etc. So here, aqra'a, it can mean to enter into asceticism. So aqra'a, mudari' yuqri'u, aqri' and iqra'un. The fa'il is muqri'un and the maf'ul is muqra'un. Right. So now next one is fa'ala, which gives us qarra'a. So qarra'a, as far as I could find in my dictionaries, which are only Mukhtar al-Sihah as well as al-Mu'jam al-Wasit, I haven't found any meaning for qarra'a that is related to reading. It's all related to the menstrual cycle. And it means that qarra'a, to retain the woman in your house during the iddah. As Allah said in this particular ayah that I've mentioned to you before, al-mutallaqatu, the divorced women, yatarabbasna bi anfusihinna thalathata quru. They stay by themselves, meaning they're not getting remarried, they're not getting involved in anything like that. Thalathata quru, 3 menstrual cycles. So qarra'a means that he has retained the woman for 3 menstrual cycles and now she's free to go. It's clear that she's not pregnant and the divorce is valid. So qarra'a yuqarri'u, qarri', taqri'atun, muqarri'un and muqarra'un. So those are that's this wasn't right here. Then we go to fa'ala, and we said that the main meaning of fa'ala is al-musharaka, engaging somebody else into the action, like you're sharing this action between you. So qara'a, it means to read to each other. Like for example, in study circles, you will have people that either read to each other Quran in order to check their pronunciation, check their memorization, or whatever study methodology. This you can use this wasn't right here to express that. So that's qara'a, yuqari'u, qari', muqara'atun, muqari'un, muqara'un. Next one is ifta'ala. So ifta'ala, I was a bit hesitant. Iqtara'a, I haven't found it in Mukhtar al-Sihah. I found it in al-Wasit, and it's just a meaning of reading. So Ibn al-Qayyim gives us a rule when it comes to al-bina, meaning like the composition, the building of words. When we add letters to the word, we're adding meaning to the word. So, like Ibn al-Qayyim says, زيادة في المبنى يدل على زيادة في المعنى. So, اقترأ, when we see in the dictionary that all you find is read, which is the same as the thulathi, well, we have to understand that there is some additional meaning to reading here. However, I haven't been able to really find precise information on that in my dictionaries. So, اقترأ يقترئ اقترئ اقتراء مقترئ and مقترأ. As I said, I've never seen it used in a book, never heard it in a lesson. I don't think it's in the Quran, but I found it in Al-Mu'jam Al-Wasit. Next one, in fa'ala, which is al-mutawa'a, which means that the action is applied upon the fa'il himself. Like when we say kasara fulanun al-ka'sa, fulan broke the glass, al-ka'su inkasara, the glass broke, right? That's al-mutawa'a. So is there mutawa'a for qara'a? Is there anything like in qara'a yanqari'u? La, that does not exist, not even in modern dictionaries. You will hear it, people will make the will deduct that meaning, and they will use it very often as a passive form, but this is wrong. This is very weak Arabic language, not authentic. So this wasn't right here, stays blank for qara'a. Then tafa'ala, it would be taqara'a. Yani again, read to each other. Again, I have not found this wasn't, not in Mukhtar al-Sihah nor al-Mu'jam al-Wasit. Then we have tafa'ala, taqarra'a, and we said that this means a takalluf. Takalluf being taking something onto yourself. So what meaning are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with reading? Are we dealing with menses? Or are we dealing with asceticism? Well, the meanings that you will find in a dictionary relate to taqarra'a, taking on knowledge. In other words, you're like reading knowledge in order to take it in. Or taqarra'a, to become ascetic. Take upon you the burden or the hardship of asceticism for spiritual purposes along your way. So here once again you see that it's important to be able to look up the root meanings and understand how they affect these different awzan. And the more you look up the meanings of different awzan for different af'al, for different verbs, the more you will get a feeling for what verbs will mean, although you haven't looked them up yet. So going on, taqarra'a yataqarra'u. That's another mistake here. Allah al-musta'an. So please correct this. Here we are supposed to have a dhamma. Yataqarra'u, or maybe it was a dhamma actually, it just didn't appear well. Taqarra' taqarru'un, mutaqarri'un, and mutaqarra'un. Again, it's very rare. I have never come across it, but it is definitely authentic Arabic language. Now, istaqra'a, and as we say, the wasn't istaf'ala, it has mainly the meaning of talab, request. So it's like requesting somebody to read. That is the main meaning. Istaqra'a, yastaqri'u, istaqri, istiqra'un, mustaqri'un, mustaqra'un. However, please pay attention to this. It also has another meaning. Istaqra'a, it means to read all the details of something in order to come out with a general rule that will encompass or apply to all the details that you have extracted from your research. And al-istiqra'u, which is the masdar of this wasn't here, it is one of the adilla of the sharia, right? For example, as we shall see inshallah ta'ala in a future lesson, al-istiqra'u, how do we know that Tawheed is split up into three categories. What's the dalil for that? Do we have a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ tells us hadith is of three categories? Does Allah tell us in an ayah, وَحِدُونِي بِثَلَاثَةِ أَقْسَامٍ or something like that? The answer is no. However, in the Sharia we have something called al-istiqra, and you will find this in the books of Usul al-Fiqh. And that is a way to extract Shar'i rulings, and it's by doing what is explained here. You're reading, or you're looking up all the details in order to come up with a general rule that reflects all these details that you have read. So in the next lesson, which shall be the last one of this series, we shall look at dictionaries. Very briefly, we shall look at the two dictionaries that I have, and I will show you how you can apply this knowledge in order to look up and benefit from Arabic dictionaries. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.